The net zero debate is finally getting real, with two former Nationals leaders, Barnaby Joyce and Michael McCormack, campaigning to have the commitment dropped. The current leader, David Littleproud, says that could be the outcome of the party's review. Meanwhile, the Liberals are reviewing their policy, and Pauline Hanson's One Nation are putting a motion into the Senate to scrap the target. As I explained last week, this is the collision of reality with political ideology and virtue signalling. Because the world is not heading to net zero, global emissions are still increasing dramatically. The world's largest emitters and our largest trading partners are not shooting for net zero by 2050. The US has dropped out of the Paris Agreement. China has made a promise for 2060, but is still building coal and increasing emissions. So there's no sense in Australia hurting itself for nothing. Our power prices continue to rise for nothing. We've hurt our industry, we've hurt our businesses and our households, all for nothing. We need someone to stand up for common sense.
This is not about leadership. This is not about trying to create some sort of discordant note. This is actually not about having an attack on the Labor Party. This is about a great threat to our nation and one of the most divisive issues in regional Australia and one of the most crushing issues for pensioners and for small business that our nation has ever participated in, which is net zero.
Yeah, forget trying to play politics. That's what's got the country into this mess. It's time to stand up for Australians and deliver an economy that works. And the secret to every modern economy, the secret to the prosperity of all developed nations is reliable, affordable power.
Net zero is not working. We were promised 3 years ago that net zero would deliver cheaper energy. Instead, electricity prices are up 30%, gas prices are up 40%. We were promised when we signed up to net zero that we'd have heaps of more jobs, including in the hydrogen industry. We'd be a green energy superpower. Well, we've seen over the last few weeks that almost all of those hydrogen dreams have turned into nightmares, just adding debt onto our public purse without producing anything tangible whatsoever. We were also promised that the rest of the world would be acting with us, and that if we didn't sign up to net zero, we'd be locked out of capital and trade markets. Again, that has not happened. The US has pulled out.
Apart from everything else, all the economic damage, all the environmental damage from the renewables rollout, all the political debate and drama, the bottom line is that net zero cannot be delivered. No developed country has been able to achieve it. None are on track to achieve it. In fact, it can't be done unless we invent new technologies. That's what the experts say. But Labor, the Greens and the Teals dream on with our money, toying with our futures to deliver a national goal that cannot and will not be met and which would have no effect on the climate, even if it was met, because global emissions continue to rise with no sign of any change. And the man responsible for these policies, the man who was supposed to cut your power bills by $275 a year but saw them increase instead by at least 3 times that amount, well, he's very smug. And he seems to think the economic harm he's inflicting on the country is just a little bit funny.
This is a reminder, when you have these reviews underway, appointing Senator Canavan to review net zero is a bit like putting Coldplay in charge of Kiss Cam. It doesn't necessarily lead to a happy marriage.
Hilarious, isn't it? This bloke is promising to keep going with his expensive and failing policies using your money because he thinks he's going to save the world. Seriously. And while all this goes on, the government's financial management is such a mess that the Prime Minister couldn't even rule out new taxes or higher taxes today.
Will the Prime Minister now rule out raising taxes on hardworking Australians?
We've just been through an election with 2 alternative propositions.
There was a direct question. Will the Prime Minister now rule out raising taxes on hardworking Australians? Will you, Prime Minister?
Less debt and lower taxes on this side of the House. more debt and higher taxes on that side of the house.
Yeah, look out. More taxes are heading our way. The single best thing the government could do for our economy and its budget would be to stop the net zero chaos. We need to reclaim one of our great economic advantages in this country: plentiful, reliable, affordable energy. Someone has to call out the virtue signalling, climate and energy madness. I'll speak with Nationals leader David Littleproud later in the program.